Hey, heart seekers, welcome to the Hearts Hello Show, where our hearts are the foundation of our well being and happiness. I am your host, Keona Talana. I know you already had your episode for the week, but this is a special bonus episode. Today is the launch of my first children's book called Dear God, Will You Be My Friend? And because I have global friends, on this International Read to Me Day, I am going to read to you my children's book. You ready? All right, let's go. Dear God, Will You Be My Friend? Written by me, illustrated by Trenton Taylor. Talia pumped her legs harder and harder on the swing, soaring higher into the air. She leaned back, letting the breeze brush her face as she gazed at the sky. The clouds looked soft, painted strokes of pink and gold, and everything felt so peaceful. She wondered, could God be my friend? When she reached the highest point, she called out, God, can you hear me? Will you be my friend? She slowed down, listening. The only sound was the creak of the swing's chains. She tried again, a little louder this time. Hey, God, will you be my friend? Nearby, a group of kids turned to look and started laughing. One boy said in a mean voice, Why would God want to be friends with you? Talia's cheeks burned. She had never felt silly for talking to God before, but now she did. Another kid said with a smirk, God isn't even real. A heavy feeling sank into Talia's chest. Maybe they're right. Maybe God doesn't want to be my friend. She slid off the swing, her head low, and kicked a pebble as she walked away. The school bell rang and everyone lined up to go inside. For the rest of the day, Talia stayed quiet, her mind tangled up with questions. Why didn't God answer me? Does he even hear me? At her desk, she pulled out a scrap of paper and wrote a note to God. Maybe he liked writing too. On the bus ride home, Talia sat quietly, the laughter from the playground replaying in her mind. She softly mumbled, What's wrong with me? Why wouldn't God answer me? Her friend sitting next to her tilted his head. Huh? Are you talking to me? Talia looked up. Do you think I'd make a good friend for God? Her friend grinned. You're the best, most fabulous friend ever. They both laughed, and Talia felt a little better. When the bus stopped, Talia jumped off and ran into her grandmother's arms for a big hug. As they walked home, Talia asked Grandma, Is God your friend? Her grandmother smiled down at her. Of course, sweetie. I talk to God every day. Talia's eyes lit up. She pulled out her note. Can you give this to God for me? Her grandmother took it with a warm smile. I'll make sure God gets it. Hand in hand, they skipped the rest of the way home. At home, Talia gave her dad a big hug. Tell me about your day, he said. I asked God to be my friend, but I don't think he heard me. So I wrote him a note. Her dad glanced at her grandmother, who held up the note with a twinkle in her eye. Grandma says she'll give it to God for me. Talia grinned, feeling a little spark of hope. She dashed to the couch where her mom sat, grabbing a handful of popcorn and gummy bears. Tossing a gummy bear into the air, she caught it with her mouth and squealed with excitement. Later, Talia danced down the hallway singing, God's gonna be my new friend, cha-cha-cha. She swirled into her brother's room. He looked from his video game and rolled his eyes. She kept singing and twirling as she danced to her room. where she flopped onto the floor. There, she imagined what it would be like to have God as a friend. She pictured him laughing, sharing secrets, and going on adventures together. A few minutes later, her brother walked into her room and playfully pinched her nose. "Come on," he said. "We're all going for a walk." Outside, her dad reached down and plucked a tiny flower, handing it to Talia. "Do you think God is friends with this flower?" he asked. Talia laughed. "Dad, that's silly. Why would God be friends with a flower?" But then she remembered the kids on the playground. She looked down at the little flower, brushing her fingers over its soft petals. "Do you really think God wants to be friends with me?" she asked quietly. Her dad knelt down beside her. "Think about it. God waters this flower from a tiny seed, gives it sunshine, and helps it grow so we can enjoy its beauty." Talia studied the flower closely, tracing her fingers along its leaves and petals. A tiny spark of hope returned. Her mom gently lifted Talia's chin. "See, God is always with us. He shows us in the colors of the sky, the whisper of the wind, and the beauty of each flower. Through all these things, God shows us we're friends." When they got home, her grandmother handed Talia her note with a little check mark in the yes box. Talia beamed and threw her arms around her grandmother in a big hug. "Thank you for being my friend." She held the note close to her heart and skipped off, imagining all the adventures she and her new friend God would share. The end. So what did y'all think? Huh? I can't hear you. A little louder. I'm so thankful that you all listened, and I pray that this book touched you in a way, although it's a children's book, to remind you that God is always with you. But not only is he always with you, he always hears you when you call him. In those moments where you may be having a tough day, in those moments where you may have tears streaming from your face, in those moments when you are questioning if you are doing the right thing, God hears you, he sees you, he loves you, and I'm just excited for you to share this with others and go buy the book. I read it to you today, but I want you to go and buy the book because the illustrations are absolutely amazing. So again, thank you for allowing me to take up a few minutes in your day. I do not take your time for granted because time is one of those things that we cannot get back. So again, thank you so much. And I look forward to you all sharing what you thought about the book. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. So the book is available on Amazon. And yeah, go buy it. Share this podcast with someone. Until next time, follow your heart.